Hello and welcome to the Weekly Stuff Podcast with Jonathan Lack
and Sean Chapman.
We are here, as always, to talk about stuff.
Well, not always.
Not always. I don't know what happens. We don't plan on missing shows. In fact, we're pretty good at communicating, scheduling. And then 2 weeks ago, it was Sean got sick.
Yes.
And obviously don't want to podcast in those conditions. And then last week, it came to Thursday, and I was all ready to podcast. And go to school and everything, and it was in the morning, and I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking sick. Fuck, I can't leave the house. This sucks. Yeah. So it's like Sean is like, I'm sick this week. We have to cancel. And so this week, even though I literally do not have time for this,
nor do I.
We are both extraordinarily busy, but we're going to record a podcast.
Yes.
If for nothing else, to take a break from writing essays and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and reading this book, North and South, which is maybe the most boring book I've ever read in my life so far. So it's a nice little break for me.
I am reading a book for my ethics class on female rock climbers.
Sounds more interesting than my book.
I don't know what it has to do with ethics. We've had 3 class sessions on it now where they've explained what these stories of female rock climbers have to do with the ethics of ambition is the name of the class. I still literally have no idea what the connection is, and it kind of baffles me. It's these are compelling people and compelling stories, and
well, that's more than than I've got, Jonathan.
No, I understand. I'm not bored. I'm just baffled.
Yes.
So
Fair
it's
enough.
better to be baffled than bored, because bafflement is at least something to do.
Yes.
So
and baffle is a great word. I like being baffled.
It is. Sean, what have you been up to since our last podcast?
Mostly just school stuff, so it's not anything really interesting to talk about, but I have been playing in anticipation for Dark Souls 2, which from the recording of this podcast came out 2 days ago, but for some reason, even though I pre-ordered it on Amazon 3 months ago, they were like, we're going to get this to you 2 days late, which happened to a bunch of people, so I have no idea why. But so, while I was waiting for Dark Souls 2 to come out, I decided to play this game, Dragon's Dogma, which is an older, Japanese action RPG from Capcom, which was free on PlayStation Plus a month ago, and it's pretty fun. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because it's kind of if you mixed a character action game, kind of like Ninja Gaiden, with a big open world RPG, like non-story heavy RPG, something more like Skyrim that's much more about exploration. So it's a lot of you going out into this big expansive world, and you have all of your different classes have these different combos and melee attacks and skills and stuff, and so the combat's much more dynamic than you usually get from an RPG, but you still have that sort of very huge, expansive, ridiculous world. And in true form to something like Dark Souls, because it is Dark Souls-y in a way in how it controls. The frame rate is fucking awful. So I'm right at home, waiting for Dark Souls 2 to come out. It's I have to get used to, sub 24 frames, consistently if I'm getting ready to play a Souls game, so.
I've got a horrible frame rate game to talk about, too.
Great!
Well, I'll just jump into this now. I'll go back to some other things in a minute. That was a good segue. I've been playing South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Yes.
There's a bunch of games recently that I've wanted to play, but I came into a scenario where I was able to get South Park: The Stick of Truth for, $15.
Oh, nice.
So I was I traded, GameStop had a trade-in deal, and I was like, I'm never going to play this game, so I traded it in and got South Park for super cheap, and I would not necessarily have paid more than $15 for this game. It's, I'll do a full review of this when I've finished it, whenever I have the time to do that, probably in a week or two.
Yeah.
I've played probably 4 or 5 hours, so I definitely got a feel for it. I mean, on one level, this game is absolutely spectacular, amazing for capturing the look and feel of South Park. I think I read about it in reviews and in the previews and everything, but you really can't do this justice until you're sitting down and playing it, and it just looks like you are in an episode of the show. And it's the most, seamless transition from a piece of licensed media with a very sort of concrete visual style to a video game I've ever seen, by far. It's,
just looking at the videos, it's the visual style is literally, when just watching the video, it was nearly impossible, unless there was, a prompt on the screen to tell whether or not it was a cutscene or gameplay.
Yes,
that's how much it looked like South Park.
It does, and it's very seamless, and the writing is just all throughout really funny, really good. The voice acting is great. I've talked about before, I haven't liked South Park as a TV show in years and years and years. I probably stopped enjoying it around season 11 or 12, and they're on, 18 or whatever now.
Yeah.
So, I was not inherently going to be drawn in by this, and I think that probably speaks well to to what the game does is that I haven't been interested in South Park in a long time, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of felt the same feeling I felt when I used to watch and enjoy South Park. It's very funny, it's very character focused. What's great about this game is that unlike the episodes they've been doing for years, it's not just them doing some weird bit of kind of out-of-date parody of something. It's an actual character-based story. You're playing, with the characters, and that's really fun. And it's consistently so fucking funny. The last part I played was this fetch. It has a lot of fetch quests, but they're fetch quests you enjoy doing because they're really funny. Which is that's what a good fetch quest should be. Is something that extends the story like that. And this one was, you're in the sewers, you meet Mr. Hanky, and he makes you go find his 3 shit nugget children.
Yeah.
But the best part of that was that for some reason, Mr. Hanky at this point in his story has a wife. And they are having a domestic abuse situation where she's a mean drunk, and she's just breaking shit, and she's really mad, and he's trying to get her to go to rehab, and they're fighting, and it's funny, there are very, very few shit-based jokes with the Mr. Hanky subplot. It's all this very anthropomorphized human marriage situation, and that is hilarious.
Nice.
So that's great. That's the funniest Mr. Hanky has been to me since the Christmas episode from season 3. So that's really good. As an RPG, it's shallow. We'll just say that.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's very sort of Paper Mario-y in terms of the turn-based combat, but you have active button prompts you need to hit.
Paper Mario, but not quite that deep.
Yeah.
It's you have classes, but they make no difference whatsoever on gameplay except for your specific special ability.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of disappointed because I picked the Jew class because that's awesome, and immediately the clothes you get for the Jew class are really funny, but you can use any kind of equipment, and obviously you're incentivized to use any kind of equipment because you just want to use whatever's most powerful.
Yeah.
But that kind of equipment could make you look like a football player or something, and not the Jew class, and so that kind of disappointed me that the customization is not linked to your class, but the battle system is enough to keep you engaged through battles. It's certainly not... I would say I saw a lot of reviews saying this was completely shallow and not worth playing because of the shallowness. And I saw some reviews that said, oh, this is surprisingly deep. I really had a good strategic time with this. And I would say it's in the middle of those two extremes. It's not... I do not get my RPG fix playing this game. I was playing Final Fantasy IV when I transitioned into this. I don't, that's... If I want to play an RPG, I'll play a Final Fantasy IV or something.
Yeah, you're playing this for the South Park of it, not the turn-based combat.
And I think
who plays a game for the turn-based combat? I have no idea.
Well, and there are games you can play Persona and enjoy the turn-based combat.
Yeah, but if the story was not there at all, if it was just turn-based combat arena game, fuck no.
No, you're very right, and I would say this game, why it's a good game. I recommend it. Not for the full $60, that's ridiculous. But to be fair, most games these days I would not recommend at that $60 price point. Yeah. My real benchmark for that at this point is if it's something that will really carry you through a certain amount of time and a certain amount of depth. Yeah. And I don't think this really has that. So I felt good about the $20 price point I paid for it. But no, I think it's good enough where you really enjoy the story and then the actual gameplay parts of it, exploring South Park, doing the turn-based combat. That's deep enough. And it takes enough strategy, even though, you're never going to lose a battle. It's ridiculously easy. It's enough that it keeps you engaged, and that's what it needs to be. It's not... this is the biggest signal of why it doesn't feel like a real RPG fix kind of game to me, is that I can only really play it in, hour-long chunks at most, and then I get bored and have to go do something else, whereas... JRPGs and RPGs that I'm really into, I play for hours and hours at a time. This is not like that, and I think it actually works better in those chunks, just as you wouldn't want to watch 2 hours of South Park every time you sit down to watch South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but, speaking of frame rate issues...
Sure.
Yes, Obsidian made this game, so it's glitchy.
Yeah, when we were speaking about frame rate issues 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to get into I want to say the nice things first.
Yeah.
Yes, it is glitchy. People reported different levels of glitchiness on it, and it honestly ebbs and flows. When you are out in South Park, if there's more than just you on screen, you are stuttering like a motherfucker, and it's pretty bad. And so it's kind of funny.
Are you playing the PS3 or 360 version?
PS3 version. But I've seen this reported for both.
Yeah.
And it's not stuttery to the point where I stop enjoying the game, because it's still fun to go around South Park and everything. But that's when the artifice of it breaks down. You realize I'm playing a game, I'm not watching South Park. And that's too bad. And there are other glitches, like boy, during that sewer section, it got worse and worse and worse until I had to just reboot my PS3 and start it again, and then the glitches kind of fixed themselves. But it was like, in battles, all the character voice stuff would drop out. And then, like, it's all about timing. Like, it's Paper Mario, so when you're about to hit, it, like, lights up. The lights up thing went off. It wouldn't show up. So I just had to kind of remember on instinct when I'm supposed to press the button. That made that difficult. And then it just got worse and worse until, like, I got to a cutscene with Mr. Hanky, and his lips were moving, but his dialogue would not show up at all. And it's just like, I can't progress like this.
It's an Obsidian game.
Yes. So that's too bad. I don't think it's nearly as bad as like Fallout New Vegas was in the day. It's playable. Fallout New Vegas had some unplayable
game-breaking glitches, or just like textures that did not exist in the final game file, so you're walking around with a gun that's just like missing texture, like text, basically.
Yes, so that's South Park: The Stick of Truth. Maybe I'll talk about it later if the story gets more... there's more interesting stuff in the story to talk about. Although one funny thing to note is that I'm 5 hours in, have yet to see Stan or Kyle.
Yeah, I've seen that like I've heard that it takes them a while to get in, because I think they're like with the elves or something. In terms
they
of
are. It's interesting because they are. I mean, they're on the cover. They're obviously the protagonists of South Park. I'm deep into the game. It's not like I just played it for a night. I'm deep into it, and I haven't seen them, so that's interesting to me.
I imagine you're probably going to run into them soon, from what I've heard. So
I didn't run into them in the sewer, so... Anyway.
Were you expecting to?
No,
I don't know.
I'm just joking. Let's see. So, what other stuff have I been up to? I had this just story to tell because it's kind of funny.
Sure.
I had to buy a new car last week because my old car, which was a 92 Nissan Maxima... I like every time I come see Sean, like Sean can attest, I tell him all the new problems with my car.
Yeah, or like you punching the windshield and like cracking it in the ice.
No one else was supposed to know about that.
Yeah, well, now everybody knows about that. But it doesn't matter because, apparently that car had more problems than a cracked windshield.
It had a lot of problems. Well, the cracked windshield was a problem because I couldn't get the windshield replaced because there's rust around the edges, and they are not legally allowed to replace a windshield with that condition unless I take it to a body shop and get the rust cracks removed, because what could happen is that because of that rust around the edges of the windshield lining, during a crash or even just a full stop sometime, the windshield could just fly out.
Off, yeah. Which that seems unsafe, let's say.
It does seem unsafe. Even more unsafe is I took the car in for service for related. They would not replace the windshield, but they did some other stuff. And first off, they replaced my tires, and whatever the fuck they did to my tires, like the new ones they put on, were so bad that in any amount of snow... And as you know, if you live in Colorado, we've had a lot of snow lately. Literally any amount of snow, I had no traction. And when you have no traction in the snow and you're driving home on like a highway, it's scary because it sucks. I mean, you're an inch away from dying, and it took every ounce of like driving skill I had to get myself home. And then I was like, I'm not driving that again. That's not safe. And then I made some more calls, and we learned about this other problem. The front axles are split. Which means that my car was making the sounds that indicated that they were close to not just splitting, but cracking. And that meant that I had to stop driving the car, because if those axles cracked open while I was driving, the car would come to a full stop, and I would potentially be thrown out the windshield from inertia.
Yeah, that seems...
Yes.
Also unsafe.
Or I could have gotten rear-ended by a semi,
Yeah.
Anything could happen. So I'm like, we just made the decision to buy a new car. Got a 90... I moved up in the world. I got a 1995 car.
Oh, good. It's 3 years younger.
Now we're within my brother's lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
We were in... 92 was the year I was born. 95 was the year my brother was born. So it's fucking old, but, So this car is nice, except that the... radio worked when I test drove it, and then it just stopped working. Like, I use a cassette player plugged into my iPod. The cassette player stopped working. So now I'm just listening to stuff on headphones until I can get that replaced.
That also
it's unsafe.
Seems unsafe.
But I'm going to go crazy if I just sit there in silence and drive. So
I mean, you could use, like, the speakers or something. I know it's not great sound quality, but...
No, I can't use the speakers.
No, the speakers on your iPad or iPhone or something.
I just can't hear it through that. And I usually don't listen to music. I do spoken word. Yeah. And then I can hear everything if I'm doing that. That doesn't mess me up, but... Sure. Yeah. I've thought about this.
You should not be driving around with headphones on.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Last story I'll do for stuff, and I have another couple things to talk about. We'll do that maybe at the end. So I feel some shame about this. Mini topic we're going to go into now.
Okay.
I bought a Wii U. I'll tell you, let me. I
I was going to make, when you said that you had felt shame for what you were about to say, I was going to start making jokes about what it could be. Like, I wasn't even going to touch Wii U. Like, I didn't even think you'd go that far down.
You thought it would just be like sex with a prostitute?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, something like that. Like,
all right, let me back up.
God.
Technically, my brother and I bought it.
Oh, okay.
He wanted it more. It came up on a really good like sub $200 sale, brand new for like the basic one. So you're like, fine, fuck it, just do it. A couple reasons for me. For me, honestly, it was there are a couple games I want to play on it very badly. The new Mario game and whatnot. Basically just the new Mario game. But anyway, for me, it was also this sort of journalistic thing where I'm so fascinated by the failure of it in some way.
Sure.
Having one, I especially because my brother and I went on it equal and stuff, and I would get to play my Mario game, but I would also get to report on it more on this podcast. Interesting to me in that way, so that's part of why I bought it. But it definitely has given me stories because I regret every decision that led to me buying that Wii
U. Well, at least you came out of this, with a sobered perspective.
Because, some of it is not the Wii U's fault at all.
Sure.
Some of this was, it was coming via UPS, and many UPS, I do a lot of online shopping and whatnot, yes. So oftentimes UPS requires a signature. What you do is they leave a little note on your door. You take the note home at night, because I'm not home during the day, like, most people who have homes, they're not in their homes during the day, they're out doing stuff. So I'm not at home. They leave the thing, I sign the back of it, leave it, and then the next day they leave me my package.
Yeah.
That's the standard procedure. Mm-hmm. Turns out there are 2 levels of security higher than that.
Oh.
One of them is you cannot sign the back of the page. They have to have someone sign for it in person. In those cases, usually what you do, and I've done this in the past, is you leave it with like a neighbor who's retired, who's at home during the day.
Sure.
They can sign for it. That's the main thing you do. I've done that before. This was more than that. For some reason, the person who sent me this Wii U...
You had to sign it in your blood.
No, it could only be delivered to my hands. My signature, my ID.
So it might as well have been like your signature in your blood.
I couldn't leave it with a neighbor. I couldn't leave it with a neighbor. I couldn't sign for it like remotely. I had to either be home when they brought it, which is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Or I could pay $20 to have them delay it to a day and time when I would be home, but that's silly.
Yeah.
Or I could drive out to their warehouse in Commerce City and pick it up in person.
Because that's practical.
The only option I really had in that case is I drove out to Commerce City, 20-mile drive, not fun. Get there, everyone who works at UPS is angry and bitter.
I imagine so.
Finally got my stupid Wii U package, brought it home, and proceeded to set that thing up for 3 hours.
Right.
And I should have given up after, I realized...
Right, because, not only was there a massive, firmware thing on day one,
yes.
I imagine there's been quite a few firmware updates.
Yeah, it took, Sean, setting up the PS4 took how many minutes? 5? You plug it in and you're playing?
It basically just started.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say 5 minutes. I would say I plugged it in. It was like, oh, okay.
I can play my games.
Yeah, basically.
Do whatever I want. On day one, the PS4 had some network issues, but I was not buying the Wii U on day one.
Yeah, and also when those issues did not affect me when I was playing my PS4.
Yeah. So okay. First funny thing is you open up the Wii U box, and I am not kidding. The controller, the gamepad, is literally as big as the console. And they have them in a box. They're the same width. They're in the same space. It's hilarious how fucking big that gamepad is, and how uncomfortable it is to play games on it. But anyway, no. So I my normal setup process. I'm pretty good at this now. I just redid our whole entertainment center recently, so I've got it down to a science of how you pull out the TV and plug things in, and that wasn't the hard part. I plug the Wii U in. I look on the back as I'm plugging it in, because normally anything that is in my entertainment center, I moved our router out there so I can just plug PS4, PS3, Xbox, all that stuff just right into Ethernet.
Yeah.
Because that's the way you do it at this point.
I agree.
I look at the back of the Wii U and I'm like, where's the Ether? There's no Ethernet cord.
Oh, I had no idea.
No Ethernet port.
So
and I'm like,
only Wi-Fi.
And I'm like, I hope this isn't a problem. It was a problem. I started the Wii U after setting it up and stuff, and then, there's other steps in there. You start it up, and you have to sync the gamepad manually and all this stuff. And then the gamepad has its own separate AC adapter that you plug to the wall.
Right.
And that's how you charge it. Which is at least, I like that okay, because I can there's an outlet near my couch. And I
for some setups that would be more practical than,
Yeah.
plugging it straight into the console.
Well, and the gamepad you want right there, whereas
Yeah.
the PS4 controller, I'm fine going and leaving it on top of the PS4.
Sure.
Which is where it is every night, and I just go grab it and then start. But anyway, yeah, so that's you have to go through all that rigmarole. You do your account sign-in stuff. You have to basically all firmware level stuff, UI level stuff is done on the gamepad.
Huh.
Unless you have a Wiimote or a Wii U Pro controller, which I don't have that Wii U Pro controller yet. I'm probably going to get one.
Yeah.
But unless you're using one of those, and I'm not going to use the Wiimote for this shit.
Yeah, I would never want to touch another one of those things again for the rest of my life.
Yes, and honestly, there are pros and cons to this. It definitely UI navigation has some pros on the Wii U because you can do all the typing just touchscreen right there.
Yeah.
There's some advantages to it, but then again, I also had to remember my passwords for Nintendo stuff, and I so infrequently use these. It's like having to remember that stuff was kind of a hassle. But then it was getting it online. I go in, I pick our router, I pick our network, I put in our password, and it says cannot connect. I'm
Fantastic.
like, did I put the password in wrong? No, I did not. Try again. Will not connect. Will not connect. Restart the Wii U. Will not connect. I'm like, fuck it. I pull out my iPhone. I'm like, is my iPhone Wi-Fi working? Yes. Turn off the iPhone's Wi-Fi. Restart. Forget the network. Boot it all up again just to check the Wi-Fi network's okay.
Yeah.
So after like 30 minutes of this, it will not connect to my Wi-Fi network. At this point, I go back and I'm like, did I miss the Ethernet port? Is it on a different side of the console? I look through the manuals. Turns out you can use Ethernet if you buy an adapter for USB to Ethernet.
I was just going to say, you just like get out a soldering iron and just make an Ethernet port yourself. God damn it.
Yes, exactly. So, doesn't have any... I mean, this is why, if you haven't tried this before, Ethernet is the easiest thing in the world for consoles, and it's so much faster. But anyway, yeah. So, finally I just, power cycle my router, and that worked. I don't know why I had to power my cycle my router.
It's just weird.
It's just weird, yeah. And the Wii U is the only device in my house having that problem. So, strange.
Has like that type of connectivity issue popped up again with the Wi-Fi?
Not since. The Wii U, I will say, has slow Wi-Fi in some ways, but that's because... That may just be the Wii U UI is very slow and cumbersome. But in any case, I got the Wi-Fi, I get the firmware update going, and it takes 90 minutes to download and install.
Fantastic.
Yes, fantastic.
There's nothing better when you get a new piece of technology and you want to like try it out, and it's like, yep, progress bars.
Yep.
This is what I interface with technology for. Just look at little fucking progress bars crawl across the screen.
But, hopefully I won't have to update it again for a while, because that was a process. But, I got some homework done. I just, did some other stuff, I guess. Played some other games.
Went outside and realized, why the fuck did I buy a Wii U?
Exactly.
I don't need this in my life.
Not really. The Mario game is really fucking good, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see. So, yeah, get through that, and then the next part of the process, because my goal for this morning, I've realized at this point I'm not going to get to play a game this morning, probably. And I wanted to play a game before school because I got the Wii U. I went out at 7 in the morning to the UPS to get this, and I'm like, maybe I'll at least have an hour to play Mario or something. That was not to be between 7 and noon.
But think about all the progress bars you got to watch.
I did, and I watched more because the next again, my goal was to get the Wii U in the state where everything was done setup wise, and I could just play it. So the next part was, because Nintendo does not use modern internet or account systems, if I want to get my stuff off the Wii, where I have some like virtual console games and stuff I don't want to lose. Like I like having Super Mario 64.
Sure.
And that kind of thing. And some Wii saves if I ever want to go back and play other Mario games. This all boils down to Mario.
That vast library of great Wii titles you want to go back to.
Yes. So there is a way to transfer your Wii stuff to your Wii U. This sounds really pornographic. But no. So what you have to do is have both of them on and set up to the TV, which you quickly realize means you have to have 2 sensor bars out.
Jonathan, this is like just stabbing knives into my heart just thinking about interfacing with Wii's.
It sucks.
I hate fucking around with Wii system stuff.
So before I started the Wii U system transfer thing, I was like, I'll set up the Wii U, I had to set up the Wii U sensor bar first so I could use the Wii U sub-Wii menu.
Yeah, I just want to say something really quick about the Wii that's fucking about that sensor bar. Why the fuck can you not just manipulate the interface with the GameCube? Like, why?
I don't know. It sucked. Yeah.
Why do you have to have that sensor thing in there? Because it was like every time, the rare occasions when I would boot up my Wii, I would have to go dig out, even if it was like I wanted to play fucking Super Smash Brothers Melee, and all I was going to use was the fucking GameCube controller. I still have to dig out a Wiimote. It's always the battery's dead somehow. I don't know how the battery is always dead in Wiimotes.
They are.
And then I had to replace the batteries. It's the most frustrating fucking thing.
Well,
why did you get a Wii U?
This was part of
Burn it.
This is part of my process. Was when I realized I'm going to have to manipulate the Wii U and the Wii with some Wiimotes. I pulled out. They were all dead. All 4 of my Wiimotes were dead.
Now I have to go to the fucking King Supers and get some AA batteries.
Luckily, I had batteries on the table. I keep
right.
them there for this reason, primarily for Xbox controllers, but for Wii when we need them.
Yeah.
So anyway, I set up the Wii U sensor bar, which is pretty much the same as the Wii 1. I put it where the Wii 1 was. I draped the Wii 1 over the TV just to wait. And then I play with the Wii U thing, get that part of the process going, and then I have to turn on the Wii, and I'm like, ah, shit. So I put that sensor bar next to the other sensor bar, and now they're just, both of my Wiimotes are just going crazy. Back and
Yeah, I can imagine. So.
And finally I got the bright idea to like, will it work if I just stack them? And so I stacked them, and it worked perfectly.
Huh.
I would not have, I thought that would have fucked it up.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't try it at first. But no, I stacked them, and then they worked.
So the Wii U comes with its own Wii sensor bar.
Yes. Because you cannot control the Wii part of the dashboard with the Wii U peripheral.
Right, because why would that make sense? Why would you want to be able to manipulate a standard controller-based fucking interface? Like, there's nothing about the interface that's unique. It's a bunch of goddamn tiles. Why would you want to use a controller to manipulate that? Of course you want to use the fucking Wiimote.
I mean, for the Wii U interface, you can do everything with any kind of controller you want, and that's actually nice. But no, once you go into the Wii menu, which is a separate bootable, then you have to use Wii controllers. And
right, because doesn't the Wii thing it's just emulating the Wii software, right?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
I forgot it did that. It didn't just emulate the games. It emulated the whole fucking thing.
It emulates the whole software. So to do the Wii U system transfer, you have to go into Wii mode on the Wii U, and then everything happens in like this fuzzy, 480p thing inside the Wii system menu that's emulating on the Wii U. It's hilarious. So
I just like and Nintendo was maybe confused about how people were befuddled by the differences between the Wii and the Wii U. They're so clearly completely different consoles, right?
Yes. So anyway, here's how the process works. First you have to download this thing through, this is hilarious, on the Wii U, you go into Wii mode, the emulation software. Then you select Wii U transfer. Then it takes you to the eShop where you have to download the transfer thing, and then it takes you back to the Wii menu where you can select the bootable, and you start it.
Right.
Start Wii U transfer thing. You have to have an SD card. Luckily, I had one from my original 3DS that I'd taken out when I sold it. I put that SD card in the Wii U. And then it has to create this thing so it can do the transfer. It puts it on the SD card. Then you take it out, put it in the Wii, start up your Wii, download the software from the eShop, and good God, I forgot how bad the Wii eShop is.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I'll say, the Wii U eShop is great. It's a good shop, totally modern, on par with the PlayStation Network store for me. Mm-hmm. It's very, very good and modern. But the Wii eShop is terrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, you download the software, then you put your SD card in the Wii, you get that thing going, and it doesn't just transfer your stuff. It has to do this really elaborate animation while it's doing it, which inevitably slows down the process.
Sure.
I just know it is. And it's funny because it was going really fast, and I'm like, hey, at least this is fast. Then it gets to 90%. And not between 90% and 91% is where they transfer your game.
That's the worst. It's the worst when progress bars do that, when it's like you have this false hope of like everything's going so fast, and then you get right to the end, and then it's like, fuck!
Yep. Basically.
Estimated time remaining 12 hours. Well, fuck you! I'm just gonna throw this out a window now.
Pretty much. So it gets to 90%, and I shit you not, between 90 and 91% is when it transfers all your game saves, which is the primary thing you're transferring.
That's not how percentage works! It's total memory. It's not just like each section gets like whatever 10%, but it's like not like almost all the sections are like 500 kilobytes, and then you get to the game, and that's the last 10%. Fuck you.
Not 10%, 1 between 90 and 91.
That's God, fuck!
Because in 92 to 100, we're lickety split. And literally, while it's sitting on 90, it's flashing across the screen. Now transferring Mario Kart Wii.
Shows you everything.
Now Super Smash Bros. Now Legend of Zelda.
It's so fucking stupid. That's not how math works. You're breaking math in doing that.
Yes. So anyway, I watch the Pikmin pick up my save data and carry it across the screen. And then it's finally done, and a rocket ship launches into the air with my data.
Sure.
And then it goes back to the thing and says, you can now take your SD card out and put it in the Wii U. And I'm like...
Except for, unfortunately, all of you just shot all of your data into space. So...
Yes. And here's the other funny part of this, is that you better be damn sure you want to do this, because it deletes all that data off the Wii, and you can never put it back.
What? What are you doing? Did you have to get in a time machine and go back to caveman times to do this process? Like, this is madness. Like, that's, like, worse than, like, the fucking digital rights management in, like, the 90s is how archaic that sounds.
It's,
for God's sake.
This process, I felt, like, dirty in terms of how old it was. It was like...
God!
But anyway, okay. I got more. I put the SD card back in the Wii U, and it starts doing its transfer, which for some reason is much slower on this end.
Sure.
So anyway, it's like, okay, I've got some time to kill. What I'll do now is I'll make sure the Wii... I'm going to get rid of this, Wii. I'm going to sell it or something.
Oh, you're going to get rid of it. You're going to take a fucking hammer, and it's done.
Maybe that could be a podcast video episode.
Sure.
We smashed the Wii with a hammer.
Oh, that would be so just cathartic,
Would that make you happy, Sean?
Yes.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea. Anyway, because how much money am I going to get for it anyway?
They're probably going to take money away from you for trying to give that. You're going to go to jail for trying to give that thing to someone.
All right. So anyway, I go back to... So while the Wii U is doing its transferring all that data to the Wii U, the SD card is in the Wii U, I go back to the Wii. I'm going to wipe all this stuff. So first thing I do is I go to System Settings. It says Format System Memory. And I'm like, okay. And it says, warning... you should probably go make sure you're signed out of the eShop before you format system memory. Sure. I'm like, I didn't know there was such a thing as a sign in on the Wii, but sure, I'll go check.
I sign in is such a automatic thing in the back of my mind. I forgot Nintendo doesn't quite understand that part.
This is the best part. I go to the eShop to do this sign out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I do it. For some reason, it's under WiiWare and other things, and with all the other apps is the sign out thing.
Yeah, so it's etc. on the options. Yeah.
Right. So I go into that, and it says, okay, are you sure you want to delete all your account information from the Wii? And I'm like,
what?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, sure.
So whatever, it's like if it's got a credit card or name saved, it's going to get rid of all that. So I say, yes, I do. And then it says, please enter the serial number on your console, and it shows you the serial number where it is. It's on the underside of the Wii, and I'm like, the Wii is on. What am I supposed to do?
They think, just in case you stole someone's Wii, or, you bought a black market Wii with the serial number filed off the fucking bottom?
I don't know.
Why do you need to do that?
So I go in...
It's not a car! It's a fucking, you can buy a Wii for, $50. Who gives a shit?
So I think about how I'm going to do this, and I'm like... Well, first step is just to go see if I can find the serial number. So I go... My Wii is kind of on the lower level entertainment center. So I sit down on the ground, grab my Wii... pull a little bit, and everything turns off because the power cord was so taut in the back, it just pulls out. And I'm like, fuck. And so I
like how with the serial number shit, it would be easier for me to buy a gun on the black market than it seems to be for you to get your fucking Wii data onto your Wii U.
Yes. So,
God.
So it's unplugged now. I don't know if I've had data loss or something, but I finally take my phone, I take a picture of the serial number, because that's the best solution I have.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they had told you needed to do this before it.
Yes.
You had to have the Wii on.
Yeah. So then I have to somehow get that power cord back in, which took 10 minutes of really, a lot of maneuvering to get that thing back in. I had to know exactly the contours of the port and the cord. Finally got it back in, turned the Wii back on. Of course, it wasn't hurt by this at all because it's so, low tech.
Sure.
And started up, do it again, enter the serial number. It's done. I format system memory. Now, what's funny is I do format. I say, are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Then it gives me the next warning, which is about...
Are you really sure you want to do this?
And I say yes, and then it's got a third warning.
Are you super fucking sure you want to do this, man?
And that's the one where they flip yes and no.
It's like talking to the owl in Ocarina of Time. It's like, do you want to hear this again? Yes, no. Do you maybe not want to unhear this and have me tell you it again, maybe? Yes, no, probably.
What? So again, on this third warning, it's flipped yes, no. So I accidentally hit no, and then it backed out to the menu, and I'm like, that didn't take very long. I should double check this. And that's when I realized it flipped yes and no.
Are you sure you want to do this? Are you really sure you want to do this? Hey, man, are you super fucking sure you don't maybe want to undo this again and have the options on, like, opposite sides of the screen?
So finally, yes, I get it done. It's formatted, and then I turn the Wii off, and I just yank it out of there and pull all the cords out. Yeah. And I realized that the sensor bar for the original Wii had about 40 feet of cord.
Yes, 40 feet of the worst cable ever invented by mankind.
It really,
that, like, dissolved in air is how fucking thin that cable is.
It really is, and I had to... It was tangled around all the other cords in my entertainment system.
So now you have this fucking thing to deal with,
Yeah, so that I had to deal with that. And then getting the power supply out was hell, because first, the power supply for the Wii and the power supply for the Wii U, I shit you not, look identical. They're the same size, they're the same color, they say the same stuff on it. Right. So, and I just hadn't thought to differentiate them when I plugged everything in for the Wii U. So I had to figure out which one was which, and then that was just a whole thing. And literally there was sensor bar cord wrapped around it all. Get it all out. The Wii's done. It's all on the heap in the floor. Go back to the Wii.
Throw it in the toilet.
Go back to the Wii U. It's on that 90 to 91% jump. It finally finishes, and then I play with the UI for 5 or 6 minutes, and then I have to go to school. Because this has been 3 hours now.
God! Fuck, man. And all that really needed to be is you put an SD card in your Wii, transfer all the memory to that, and then just put in your fucking Wii U and put it onto your Wii U. Like, that's literally all it needed to be, since you're just emulating Wii software.
It was easier to replace the hard drive in my PS3.
Yeah.
And you would think that would be hard. I would not blame Sony for that being hard.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking shit.
So finally my Wii U is ready to play. I get home at night, and I'm like, now I'm going to play some Mario. First I played around with the UI for a little bit, because you want to do that.
Went to the Miiverse.
I didn't do anything with Mii's.
Sure.
Actually, for this one, when it
didn't make a Mii Hitler. That's what everyone does. It's like customary.
Well, it's funny. The Mii it made of me, I just had it take a picture of my face, and it made something that looked absolutely nothing like me. But I kept it because it was funny.
Sure.
So,
all right, because the gamepad has a camera on it.
It does, yes. So anyway, yes,
that seems useful.
Yeah, you do most UI navigation with the gamepad. Like I went into the store. The store boots everything on the Wii U boots really slow.
Yeah, but they're all like separate apps, right?
They're all separate apps. System settings boots particularly slow, which is hilarious.
I hate when like the Vita does that too. Although the Vita it doesn't take long, but the Vita still has like system settings as a separate app. I hate that.
It's too bad. But no, this is much slower. And if you want to, if you go into Wii mode and then back out, that takes for fucking ever.
Yeah.
So that's all kind of hassle. The Wii U eShop is nice. It's easily navigatable. The one thing is that it does not tell you like the gigabyte amount of things that you're going to download.
Yeah.
Maybe it does if you go in to actually buy something. I've not bought something yet. There are some games on there, I'd really like to buy. They have a Link to the Past up. That's the first time that's been up on Virtual Console. They've got some other...
You can play fucking like Earthbound. That's on the Wii U Virtual Console. Only on the Wii U Virtual Console. So.
I think so, yeah. So there's some things there maybe I'll play at one point.
Wonderful 101.
I got the simple 8 gig version of the Wii U because it's like, how much digital stuff am I actually going to put up on this? And the deluxe version is only 32 gigabytes, so either way I'd have to get an SD card for this. And SD cards are cheap, so rather save the money.
Like also it's like how many... Even if you do end up buying a bunch of digital games, how many games are you going to really have on your Wii U at the same time? Like, how many Wii U games are you going to want to come back to,
Not a ton. And then, it's fine. And I'm going to be getting most things disc-based for this, because that just, it's easier. So anyway, but and there are things like, you can do, like the PS4, background downloads while you're playing your games.
Nice.
There's a lot of modern stuff like that. Like, when you're in a Wii U game, you can back out to the home screen, you can play with settings, you can go to the eShop, all that stuff, and it'll have your game suspended in the background. Just like the PS4, not as smooth necessarily, but it's still good, and you can adjust all these settings of your controllers and whatnot on the Wii U gamepad during that time, so that's fine. But
so
anyway,
does it feel like that the Wii U itself is pretty good, but like it's tied to this horrible monstrosity that is the original Wii in such a way that like completely just fucked everything up in that process? Is that what it felt like?
Honestly, I do, because I'm going to get into some more positive stuff here. Like, I think they do some cool stuff with this console. Like, there's definitely some things I was impressed with. But yeah, no, that the tying to the original Wii is awful, and that you have to sync, your Wii motes so you can use Wii mode. Yeah. That sucks. And like, now the one loss here is that if I ever want to play Smash Bros. Brawl again, I can't use GameCube controllers.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I do
you
have
need to get some Wii U Pro controllers, because...
Yeah. No, and I want to get the Wii U Pro controller because I like, actually, the buttons on the gamepad and everything. I just don't like playing from the gamepad because it's enormous.
Well, good news, Jonathan, because from what I've heard, very few games actually make use of it, so...
Yeah, well, here's what they do. Like, Super Mario 3D World. I'll transition to this. This is the game I wanted to play on the Wii U. As you know, I'm a huge Mario fan. And I think I've talked about this before. Super Mario 3D Land, I have 100%ed that game in a way I have never.
Was that on your top 10 games? Was it that one?
No,
you had some Mario 1
I had Mario 64, I think, just for tradition's sake. But no, 3D Land is great. I've literally done every single thing a human being can do in that game. Everything. I've gotten every coin, every star coin, everything. I love that game. And
Did you delete your save?
No.
That's the last thing you need to do.
That's true.
That's the 100% to get the achievement.
No, but yeah, 3D World is the sequel to that. And so far, I'm a world and a half in. It's very good. It starts out kind of slow, but
most Mario games kind of do.
Yeah, and 3D Land did. 3D Land gets really good. There's kind of this twist in the middle of it, and it gets really, really good. But so far, in the first world, there is a level that is hands down one of my favorite Mario levels ever. And if that comes in the first world of a game, I'm happy. That's a good game. Mario.
Have you and Thomas played any of the multiplayer stuff?
He's not home yet.
Okay.
We are going to, because I've heard the co-op is good, and definitely there are some levels where I felt it was a little lacking. But the way, just looking at it, I'm like, maybe in co-op it comes to life.
Yeah.
Because I know this game was made with co-op in mind more than the new Super Mario Bros. Games, where it was kind of tacked on.
Because it is, just from seeing videos of it, it looks like the levels are really sort of wide in a way that it seems like it's built that way to accommodate 4 players. So it seems like having one person would maybe make some of those levels seem weirdly large, not long, but just the pathways are really big.
Yeah, they're a little sparse.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cool. I love just flipping through the characters. Every level I'll just switch to Luigi or Peach or Toad. It's like Super Mario Bros. 2 in that way, but they're better balanced. There's one level where I picked Toad and I shouldn't have, but otherwise, you're not at a disadvantage for picking one of these characters, but at the same time, they do play differently, and you play with them differently.
If you're playing Super Mario Brothers 2 and you're not playing as Peach, what the fuck are you doing? That's what I say.
And Peach has that...
Play Luigi, I'm going to slap you in the face.
No, Peach has that same, hover ability.
Floating ability.
Yeah.
Because apparently she's magic, and I don't know why. How the fuck does Bowser catch her? She can fucking fly.
Yes.
Bowser can't do shit but breathe little fireballs.
Well, hey, people have been complaining, every time Mario just has to go rescue Peach. You do not do that in this game.
Right.
So far.
You rescue a Peach clone.
Yeah, something like that, basically.
Is there a setup? What's the setup?
He's kidnapped a bunch of little kids. Honestly, I don't. It has a.
There are children in Mushroom Kingdom.
Well, they're like midgets or something.
Because that implies that people have sex in the Mushroom Kingdom.
They're not kids.
A bit too far from Nintendo.
They're not kids. They're fairies. They're little small fairy things. But this one dispenses with plot faster than any Mario game I've ever played. Back to
you don't even get just the letter from Peach at the beginning of Super Mario 64. It's not even
that level, because the letter, at least, that's a 3-minute cutscene.
Yeah,
in Mario 64. It's not that long.
You have the little Akitu dude come down with his camera and talk to you. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. It's like a movie.
It is. That's what the Super Mario Bros. Movie should have been, talking to Lakita brothers.
Yeah.
No, but no, you see, it's a really good game so far. But yeah, like most Wii U games, as I understand it, it just mirrors what's on the TV on the gamepad screen.
That's what I've heard.
And while I want to commend the gamepad screen for it has no lag, it's got no
super remote play because it's tied directly to the thing,
and it works very well. I wish it had a slightly longer range, but I won't complain about that because I don't want to be unreasonable.
Can you play it while you're on the toilet?
Yes, I could.
Okay, that's all you need.
Well, I need to... The toilet that's near enough to do that it's got some problems right now. The toilet seat is cracked in half, so I got to replace that. But once I do...
That sounds like a problem.
Yes. Once I do, it's an old toilet seat. Once I do, then I will be able to do that, and it's great. It's close enough for that. I cannot, however, do it from my room in bed, which I can do with the Vita. And remote play.
Yeah, because I've been to your basement, obviously. Yeah, your room's not far. It's in the same area.
I think it's because there's some walls in between, and then they're not directly communicating, and we'll see. But yeah, it works. That's cool. It is so much lower resolution than your TV, though. It's my main feeling while I'm playing it is, out of the corner of my eye, I'm seeing the shitty standard def version of Mario 3D World, which is a gorgeous game.
Oh, so if you're playing like Mario 3D World on your Wii U and you're like watching it on the TV, does it still display everything on the gamepad?
Yes, and
That's
this is
weird.
This is my big complaint. You cannot set it to not do that if you're playing on the gamepad.
Because I've heard, from what I've heard, or actually I've seen this on the Donkey Kong game that just came out. Like when you start playing, like it asks you which one you want to play on, which seems like the way you do that.
Yeah, it's the first game that does that. All the other ones, they just play.
Yeah, that seems like something you would just immediately ask you when you start playing, and then also put an option in like the options screen. Like that seems common sense to me.
Yeah, and so it's like it's not horrible or anything, but
that just seems like it would that would definitely distract me because I hate that kind of stuff.
It distracts me, and I'm going to get a Pro controller to get around this because it's even funny. I found a setting on the gamepad while I had the home screen open. Turn off Wii U gamepad screen. I'm like, okay, great. And it says it's turning off. Hit any button to restart. And I'm like, well, so I can't have it off while I'm playing.
Is there like a brightness? Can you just turn the brightness all the way down?
Yeah, I turned it to lowest brightness, but it's still displaying.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so it's not perfect that way. Playing on the gamepad is more comfortable than I thought, but here's the weird thing. It feels monstrously big in my hands, and I have monstrously large hands. I'm 6'3". I have big hands. What does a kid do with this thing? When I was a kid,
kill someone with it.
I couldn't get my hands around that. Like, as it stands, the way it happens, unless you hold it really awkwardly, you cannot be using the trigger and the bumpers at the same time. You got to make a fucking choice. So it's
bad for me because I've been doing triggers and bumpers since day one, motherfucker.
And I think you could on this, but I'm like, how would Sean hold this? And I tried it, but it's awkward because the way, like the handle that your fingers rest on, you don't use at that point. So it's weird. But I like the sticks; they're fine. The buttons are good. The Nintendo D-pad is always reliable. I like the PlayStation ones now a little more, but nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So all of that's good. I wish I could turn the gamepad screen off, and I feel like I would feel differently if it were a different game where you actively had to make use of both screens. Like, I hear that Pikmin 3 is really cool for this, like, because all your map and, like, management happens on the screen.
Yeah, Pikmin does seem like that would be a good game for something like that.
And even like Zelda Wind Waker, all your inventory can be down there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sure. But, then on Mario, like, occasionally you have to do stuff on the gamepad screen, and mostly that just annoys me because, while I can really quickly glance down and interact with it, I end up, for those levels, I just play it off the gamepad screen because I don't want to go back and forth and back and forth. And there's a really, really good puzzle with that at one point. But other than that, it's kind of not great.
So any other hot Wii U titles that have come out or are coming out that you're excited to get?
Well, I got Nintendo Land with it, but I haven't tried that yet. I'll probably play that with Thomas. We're going to get, Zelda. I'm going to play the Wind Waker at some point because I've never played that game, and this will be the way to do it. And it sounds like it looks really good. And I've
that game, cause I've recently just been listening to a lot of game soundtracks randomly. That game has a great fucking soundtrack.
It does. It's my favorite. Like, I know a lot about Zelda just because my brother's an addict, and that's got my favorite Zelda soundtrack. I love it.
The Dragon Roost Island theme is fucking great.
Yes. So that's going to be fun. I want to play the new Super Mario Bros. U game that came out.
The 2D one.
I might eventually play this Donkey Kong Country one because I do like those games, and it's
got
fun.
Really good reviews.
And honestly, one of the things I like is that all of these games I'm mentioning, except Zelda, have good local co-op. So it's the perfect kind of thing to have for me and my brother.
Yeah.
As PS4 and Xbox One major AAA titles are kind of getting rid of local co-op stuff.
Yeah, mostly. Like there's this weird indie game movement, like Towerfall on the PS4 that has just come out. Like that's one of the first ones to come to consoles. You have games like Nidhogg and stuff like that are sort of revitalizing.
Octodad.
Yeah, Octodad.
So
sure. Yeah. Kind of different, but there's indie games are doing it for AAA, but Nintendo clearly is still, and good for them. Like they're still really heavily invested in the local co-op.
So I'm excited for that kind of stuff. I'm definitely going to have to get a Pro controller because it looks like, again, I like the buttons. If I could just get the bulk out and the screen down, I think I'd be able to ease into the Wii U experience a little easier. But no, I mean, there's some good, and definitely playing Mario 3D World, while it does not really justify this two-screen experience where it's just mirroring it, I can definitely see, now that I've played it, some ways where this gamepad idea could be utilized really well. Like, that's why I want to play Pikmin 3, because that feels like that's the game that could sell it to me. But more games need to make use of that. Like, it's a bad sign that their Donkey Kong game...
Yeah, their Donkey Kong game, and their main Mario one doesn't make, good, excessive use of it.
Yeah.
It seems like Nintendo isn't, pushing it very much anymore.
No, I mean, you could make some great RPGs for that. You could do even some cool stuff with, I think Mario Kart for Wii U could make interesting use. We'll see. There are things that could happen, but we'll wait and see. It's still, you use a fucking stylus for it. It's got a stylus in it.
Right, yeah.
You can touch it, it's fine. It It's not like the DS screen where touching it wouldn't really work.
Yeah,
it works, but I very rarely use the stylus unless I'm kind of just doing menu navigation heavily. But yeah, so far, Mario 3D World is really good. There's not a ton of games coming out for it or anything. I feel completely justified in my purchase now, though, because I think this was a really fun segment.
I've had a blast because you're literally the first person I know who has a Wii U, and I know a bunch of people who play video games, and I don't know anyone who's bought one.
And this is part of why I did it. It's cheap. There are games I legitimately want to play. My brother will get a lot out of it, and I can talk about it on the podcast and be more informed when we talk about Nintendo.
Yeah,
and I am I love Mario.
You're a much bigger Nintendo fan than I am. So
even though it's a little too bad, a lot of the games and the franchises I like that are coming out for Wii U are not particularly exciting to me. Like that Donkey Kong one, I think I'll get around to when it's cheap. But
gotta get that cranky Kong.
But yeah, it's like this is a Donkey Kong game I've played before, and so far they only have a Zelda remake on the system, and even if they didn't, it would probably be very similar to other Zelda games.
Yes.
And
I can confirm, yes.
And the Mario series is at least creative enough to overcome that feeling, but, Mario 3D World is a sequel to a portable game.
Yeah.
And it's in that same style, and, that's good. It's a great game, but I'd love to have another, like, Mario Galaxy kind of thing, where it's a big console title that kind of rethinks things.
Fucking proper 3D Mario, goddammit.
Yeah. But anyway, that's my experience with the Wii U so far.
So are you excited for, like, Mario Kart? Did you play a lot of the Wii Mario Kart? Was that?
Yeah, I liked it.
Which one was the Wii Mario Kart? Is that 7?
Mario Kart Wii.
Okay,
7
Mario
is the 3DS.
Is the 3DS one, right?
Well, let me walk you through
so
this.
Fucking confused with Mario Kart these days.
I think the Wii Mario Kart was mostly really, really good with a couple of issues here and there. It was imbalanced with the 12-person versus 8. But that was good. It had a great sense of speed, some of the best graphics on the Wii. It was really
had like every fucking track ever on it, right?
It did, and not everyone, but it had a lot
but
of them.
Like it's had. I just remember when I played it at your house, it was like, holy fuck, it's got so many goddamn tracks.
It was
games.
That was a great racing game. Not my favorite Mario Kart, but really good. Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, I thought was pretty bad. Like it's really slow.
Yeah, I would not want to play a racing game on a handheld, but that's just me.
But the weird thing is, Mario Kart DS is one of the most like the original DS one is one of the most refined and just perfect versions of that. It's a really good Mario Kart game. For reference, my favorite Mario Kart is Double Dash on the GameCube.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's a great game.
That one.
Yeah, but no, I hope it's good. My only worry is that 7 was bad. And I think 7 was just this problem of there was nowhere to innovate with it. This is a new platform, new Wii U. Hopefully, they've got 1080p HD. Hopefully, they can do something with it that feels new enough.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm looking. I hope Smash Bros is good.
Yeah. Are they still just calling it Super Smash Brothers 4? Is that just? Have they announced a title?
They've not announced a title. I assume there will be a title for it.
It seems really weird that they have not.
You want to share with the kids your suggestion for title?
Yeah, it's Super Smash Brothers Rough Housing, and then Super Smash Brothers Tussle, because you've got the 3DS and Wii U ones. So
yes.
Yeah, I think that's...
And that is how I have been referring to them exclusively since you suggested that.
Yeah.
So, and I will...
I think they're good titles.
And unless they title them that, I will continue to refer to them that way. Even when if it's something like, Super Smash Brothers... Fighting. I'm just going to call it Tussle.
They just give up. Super Smash Brothers Fight.
From South Park, they could call it Super Smash Brothers Let's Fighting Love.
Yeah.
Be great. But no, so those are my experiences with the Wii U so far. I wish I didn't have to pay $40 for a Pro Controller.
Oh, yeah, jeez.
Like, I wish that
controllers are fucking expensive these days. I don't know, maybe they were always expensive, I just never paid attention to it, but yeah.
I feel like back in the GameCube days, I feel like I paid $30 for those.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me too. It was like $20 to $30 for a controller, now it's like $60.
Yeah, it's too bad. So yeah, it's funny. When I went to read Pro Controller reviews last night, because I'm like, clearly I'm going to want one of these.
Yeah, because you're a pro. You ain't no fucking amateur bullshit up in here. You need a professional motherfucking controller for your Nintendo video game console. State of the art.
It's a funny name, but yes, I am more than a casual gamer. I do, I would like something other than this massive gamepad to play with.
Sure.
And I went online, read reviews, and it's basically an Xbox 360 controller with a couple things moved around. It's apparently really nice. It's got an 80-hour battery life.
Oh, jeez.
I'll buy that. That's great. The one thing that everyone complained about is that it does not have a headphone jack for chat. And I'm just laughing. It's like, why do you want that for the Wii?
Who are you going to talk to?
Yeah.
The fucking thing doesn't even have an Ethernet port on it. What do you even... Like, let's have some priorities here.
Like all of these multiplayer games I'm mentioning are local only. You cannot play Super Mario 3D World online.
Yeah, it's like the only Nintendo game that I would want to play multiplayer online is like maybe Mario Kart. Maybe. And even then, I think Mario Kart is still like 1,000 times better in person.
Yes, it is. Although Mario Kart Wii and for the DS had very good online multiplayer for Nintendo. It was kind of funny, we're going to talk about this in the news portion of our podcast, but Nintendo did announce they're discontinuing their internet services for Wii and DS.
And then I saw that and was like, internet services?
I had a different reaction. I see something like that, my instinct is to be, oh, that's kind of, that might be kind of sad. Then I went, what games do I play on that?
Yeah.
Only Mario Kart. Literally, the only game.
Guess what's coming out relatively soon is new Mario Kart on their new console.
Right. The only games
the
only games I ever played DS or Wii online were Mario Kart, and they worked fine. And I remember
think I played one game of Super Smash Bros. Brawl online, like on my own Wii, and I was like, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
Just like you get nothing out of it, Super Smash Brothers.
You don't. And here's the funny thing: I never, in however many years Brawl has been out, got the internet stuff on that to work. Huh. Like literally, I would get into lobbies and nothing would ever load, and from
you weren't missing out on much. I can tell you.
No, but like I went on. You may have seen this on Twitter if you follow me on Twitter. I talked about this Nintendo Internet thing because I just kind of took this walk down memory lane, very sparse memory lane for Nintendo and Internet. And again, it was like funny. Like I only ever played Mario Kart. I tried to play Brawl, but it didn't work. And then more than that, I remembered. And this is just an interesting thing to me. Mario Kart DS, when that came out in 2004, I believe.
Yes.
Nintendo was ahead of the curve on getting online play out on their DS, on Mario Kart. It seemed futuristic. It seemed cool. It was easy to use at the time. Friend codes did not seem that archaic at the time.
Yeah, because like, Xbox Live was still really young. Like 2004 was when Halo 2 came out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, there was nothing wrong with it. It worked well. You can go back and play that today, and it's decent. It's fine. So they seemed ahead of the curve, and I think the problem Nintendo has had on Internet is that they did that in 2004, and they just haven't evolved beyond that.
Yeah, they just kept on doing that after 2004.
And it's too bad, because they once seemed prescient, and they seem archaic now.
Yeah.
Hence my story about the Wii to Wii U transfer system.
Yeah. Man.
So that's my Wii U story. We're going to move on to other stuff now.
That was fun. Fucking... I'm not going to buy a Wii U in the near future. It's like there's no game I'm personally interested in, and just like the thought of that transfer system, fuck no.
Yeah, not fun. Okay, we just took a quick break, and while we were on break, Sean, Dark Souls 2 arrived.
Yeah, breaking news: my 2 days late copy of Dark Souls 2 Black Armor Edition, which is basically just the pre-order version, arrived. So. While we are going to this next section, I'm going to open it up on the podcast.
All right, so this is like the most useless unboxing ever.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you'll hear some like scratching of saran wrap and stuff.
So you can tell us all about what's in that in a minute. First, Sean, we're going to talk some news. This will be the next half of our podcast today. Just things that happened in the world we want to catch up on.
Yeah.
So there's this airliner missing. No, we're not. Yeah. Not that kind of news. What do you think of politics, Sean? No.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's have a debate about global warming right here, right now, Jonathan.
What's to debate?
Exactly. Yeah, that's debate over.
Yeah. Global warming. That's it. We had this, I will say, story time really quick. Mm-hmm. There was this fucking thing on campus yesterday. Did you see this at CU? Where these artists had this big blackboard out.
Yeah, I saw that by the library.
Global warming is, and then you were supposed to use chalk and write what you think global warming is, and then you could get a free piece of candy. And I wanted to go up there and write, global warming is something that will not be solved by a fucking chalkboard. I
just wanted to just go on Wikipedia and find like the most official sounding definition and just write it up there. It's like global warming is the process by which the climate on the planet increases in temperature gradually over a long amount of time that can be caused by natural effects, but can also be exacerbated by the production of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide by the human race.
Yes.
Done. Thank you.
I hate this kind of activism that you see in Boulder, where they think if we just put up a fucking blackboard or wear a bandana or put a star on our hand, that means we're helping the world. You're not. That blackboard does not help the world. It does not solve global warming. This doesn't... Like, I had this class where this girl was like, slavery is a big problem in the world today, all over the world, so if you take this Sharpie and draw a red star on your hand, it shows you support ending slavery. It's like, but you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's now we actually are getting political.
Yeah, let's we were making jokes about becoming political. It's like, we never go political on this podcast, and then you have like a giant political rant, so...
Alright, anyway,
yes.
Sean, Twitch beat Pokemon!
Yes! It's done with, like, humanity has fulfilled its purpose on this planet. The rapture is coming any second now. We've done it. We've constructed a way by which the collective human race can beat one of the best mobile video games of all time, Pokemon Red.
I think, are you all familiar with the story of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
Where Deep Thought, the computer, is trying to solve, the question to the answer 42, and Earth is the computer. Mm-hmm. This was the last phase of the computer system. And I think Twitch plays,
the answer is, the question is start, 500 times, just to, fuck everyone else over.
Yes. So, Twitch plays Pokemon. We know the answer to the meaning of life. It is 100,000 people.
Yeah, it's like a Venomoth fighting the last Elite Four dudes, fucking Dragonite, and winning.
Yes. So what were you doing on the day this happened? I was watching it sporadically throughout the day.
Yeah, I was watching it, once I heard they hit the Elite Four, which I think was 3 days or something before they actually beat it. I just kind of had it on my computer nearly constantly, just tabbing between and doing this is vague, almost entertaining, but
it was.
It's actually watching it isn't that much fun. It's just knowing that it's happening just filled me with joy, constantly. I just need a reminder that this one of the most brilliant social experiments in the history of mankind was ongoing at that moment.
Yeah, I made it entertaining for myself by signing in and playing along a little.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I'm a horrible person because
were you one of the fuckers who was just start, anarchy, 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 anarchy?
I hit start a lot, but then I realized it was even more fun in menus and battles to do B.
Right, yeah, they keep on backing out. You fucking monster.
But no, I was hoping I could see.
How did I know that you were one of the forces of darkness trying to actively block our progress, while the rest of the good forces of mankind, like myself, were all slowly trying to push our way through the game.
I was an agent against Lord Helix.
Exactly.
No, but they finished it while I was asleep, and I was a little sad about that. But I got to watch the video, and it was fun. They did it. That is so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering because they failed at the Elite Four so many times. Mm-hmm. I wondered if they could do it.
It's the actual physical manifestation of that thing of if you have a million monkeys in a room with a million typewriters, eventually they'll write Shakespeare. It's exactly that. It's just eventually, if you just throw enough time at the game with near random inputs, you will just defeat the Elite Four. It just will happen. The most amazing thing to me is they caught Zapdos.
They did.
Holy shit, dude. How did you get organized enough to do that?
How did they not run?
Yeah, exactly.
During that encounter. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I loved seeing the Pokemon they, had left by the end to fight the Elite Four with. So basically they had Bird Jesus.
Yeah, which I was really happy that Pidgeot, the Pidgey evolutions were such a critical part, because Pidgey has always been one of my favorite Pokemon from those games, because every time I played the original Pokemon, I would get a Pidgey, because you get them in the starting area and then level it up with as my number 2 Pokemon to fight alongside me. Yeah.
And since their number 1 died, he got released.
Yeah, they let fucking Charmeleon out into the wild.
The day of the purging, they just let all these Pokemon go. And I loved all the mythology that arose around it.
Yeah,
it was so
the
funny.
thing about the Helix fossil, because that was the item that was right up on the item screen, so it's you keep on going to it. Even though it's Omanite is fucking bullshit. Kabuto is way better. Of the 2 fossils, the Dome fossil is clearly the better fossil. So, I thought that it's kind of funny to have the Helix fossil, the stupid one that makes the little fucking Omanite dude. That's the one that wins.
That's what makes it funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everything about it was great. I'm glad they've moved on to playing Crystal. I haven't paid as much attention, but it's still, I just like that it's out there. If I need to laugh for 5 minutes, I can go watch it.
Still happening.
Yep. And it reminded me that Game Boy Color games look gorgeous, and it's just there's something about the color scheme on the Game Boy Color, and those Pokemon games made great use of it. That they just look nice, and I like that. So it was funny. When I went to check on the Crystal progress, they were 15 hours in, and they were just outside the hometown. It's so funny.
Yeah, like, do you remember, was it like 16 days? How long was it Twitch?
Yeah, it was like 16 days and a couple hours.
Yeah.
Which seems low, all things considered.
Yeah, I don't know, like, that, because that game is not that long. Like,
no,
that's a huge amount of time.
One of the things I considered doing, and then I realized it would be irresponsible because I was way too busy, was when they started the Elite Four, I wanted to see if I could start a red playthrough and finish it before they got through the Elite Four.
You probably could.
I could have.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pulled through it, yeah.
So anyway, Twitch beat Pokemon, now they're playing Crystal, and I gotta pull this up because Joystick had the best headline about them going on and playing Crystal. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Twitch plays Pokemon, Breaking Bad, now on Crystal. So
nice.
Good on you, Joystick.
Yeah.
Sean, you want to tell the kids about Dark Souls 2?
Yeah, so I've finished opening up my Dark Souls 2 Black Armor Edition. And it's a nice tin case with, you know, as is the modern custom, there's no manual. There's like the brief little leaflet that tells you, hey, like, don't play this game if it's going to give you a seizure. Which, you know, hey, good on you for letting me know. But one of the cool things about this pre-order edition is that it comes with a soundtrack disc, and it's actually a disc. Like, I thought it was just going to be a download code. So Dark Souls 1 did not have particularly memorable music, but I have no idea if this is going to be any good, but fuck it. You know, I like having video game soundtracks. So.
I do too, and when it's free like that, it's great. Maybe we can use it on the podcast someday.
Who knows? And I also got a download code for some pre-order Black Armor Weapons pack. And everything in here is also in French, which is weird. I don't know why all the other Pack d'Armes de l'Amour Noir.
Ooh, this podcast is very cultural now.
Yeah. So
it's got. I love the box.
The box is pretty cool. It's got a really sad dude in plate armor, which is like that's like the mascot character for the Dark Souls franchise. It's just sad knight. It's just like sitting down, just like you know, just like possessed with this immense sense of ennui. Just like fucking god, everything's horrible. That's depressing. I just keep on dying and dying and dying to the worst horrific monstrosities you could possibly imagine.
Well, hopefully we can talk about this game next week.
Yeah, I'm going to play the fuck out of this once we're done.
Just to remind you, the reason we're not talking about Titanfall is neither of us own an Xbox One.
Yeah. PC's good enough for it.
Right, and it looks so good I am thinking about getting the 360 version.
Yeah, I'll see, because they have not shown anything, like, at all from the 360 version, so I'll be curious to see if that's really affected when it comes out.
If it's good, if it's like totally, if it's on par, it's good, you know, minus, you know, graphic fidelity, that kind of thing, then totally, it'll be expensive because I don't have Live right now, and that kind of sucks, but it sounds really good.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully eventually Titanfall 2 will come out and it'll be on PS4.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably will be multi-platform,
So, and you know, just as an addendum to what I said earlier about how, you know, part of why I wanted to own a Wii U is kind of that journalistic side.
Yeah.
I don't feel that same pull for the Xbox One because at this point the consoles are so similar. Yeah. Most of the games that are coming out come out for both. It's like I don't feel like I really need to own an Xbox One to be able to report on this kind of stuff because with the stray title like Titanfall, which I can actually still play on my 360, you know, it's exclusives don't matter as much on these two systems. Mm-hmm. And again, the majority of I think exclusives like indie games and stuff are coming to PS4.
Yeah, and I'm more excited to play Infamous Second Son that comes out like a week from tomorrow.
Oh god, I've got to get money by then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to finish fucking playing Dark Souls 2 by then. Like, why do these games have to come out so fucking close to each other?
I know, March has been crazy. Like, I just realized, like, when around the time South Park came out, there's a ton of games I want to play.
Yeah, like, there's, like, a great game coming out basically every week of March, you know?
Yep, and I mean, just indie games, too. I really want to play Towerfall. Mm-hmm. It's the cheaper alternative to Titanfall.
Yes. I think they're basically the same thing.
Yes. So anyway, let's move on to some more news here.
Yes.
All right. Doctor Who news.
Right, I actually have not heard about this.
Not spoilery. They are having a new cast member next year, which means there'll be 2 companions.
Huh? Like they've confirmed, like it's companion.
It's a lead role on season 8.
Sure. Okay.
So I mean, I guess he could be playing a villain or something.
Yeah.
But it's Samuel Anderson. They have confirmed because he's another teacher at Coal Hill Elementary.
Huh?
So they're going back to the past.
Yes.
On this,
which, you know, it's Doctor Who. So.
Yeah. So cool. So we're gonna have. You know, Peter Capaldi, we're going to have Jenna Coleman, and now we're going to have this actor Samuel Anderson. I looked him up. I have not seen him in anything. He seems fairly new. He's young. He's in Jenna Coleman's age range. Coal Hill Elementary employs really young teachers.
Yeah.
I guess. But, yeah, so that's fine. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
More importantly, there's a possibility we will be getting Lego Doctor Who sets.
I had not heard about this.
Yes. Let me bring up the news. So, if you haven't heard about this before, Lego has... Okay, my browser is frozen. Are we still recording? We are still recording.
Yes.
All right. In any case, Lego has this program where people, their master builders can kind of come up with stuff, and if enough people like it and want it, maybe they'll make it. Well, this has happened to Doctor Who. This is from Doctor Who News, which is this. If you ever want to, if you just want a good blog for Doctor Who News, it's drwhonews.net. That's where I go to get stuff. Let's see. Lego's got this Cusco crowdsourcing design site. It's got the votes, as I understand it, to be made into a Lego set. Lego, as a brand, has the ultimate decision on whether or not they're going to do it.
Because they'd have to pay the licensing fees, obviously, for Doctor Who. So
yes, so there's been some of this stuff. But anyway, so it's possible that Lego creates this Doctor Who thing. Lego's statement on this was, sometimes we have to turn down project submissions that refer to specific brands. We do this to avoid getting your hopes up for something that we know or we aren't able to make. In these cases, we already know the Lego Group can't secure licensing rights to produce construction toys based on a particular brand or property due to a conflicting interest with a third party. Okay, so right now they're saying they can't do it.
Yeah.
This has happened in the past, though. This happened with Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. Eventually these did come out, but there were complications along the way. So maybe we'll see some Lego Doctor Who. That'd be fun. They have a Lego Matt Smith here. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And then we'll get the Lego Doctor Who video game.
Yes.
If it does come out, yes.
That would be great if you have just all 12 Doctors as Lego characters.
That would actually be pretty cool.
And your companions could literally be your companions.
Yeah.
Lego Rory.
And then, you can, as in fine Lego video game form, you can then beat the shit out of them and then make them pop into little Lego pieces.
And what if they went into Doctor Who Extended Universe and they got Frobisher the Penguin?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's where we finally get Paul McGann. All of his stories is they do them as Lego Doctor Who.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Lego 8th Doctor, the video game, starring Paul McGann and Charlie Pollard.
Yeah.
I don't remember the actress's name, but Charlie is cool.
Yes, he is.
All right. So anyway, that's our Doctor Who news for the day. Some cool developments. Otherwise, I mean, they're pretty deep into shooting Series 8. As I understand it, they're on Episode 5.
Yep. My long, hard vigil of not seeing the new Doctor's costume ongoing. I've so far succeeded in not being exposed to it whatsoever.
Do not go to drwhonews.net.
I will not.
It is on the main page.
I'm avoiding every... I have not been to the Doctor Who subreddit. Yeah. I have not been to any Doctor Who related thing. I avoid any webpage that talks about TV shows. Because I really don't give a shit anyways. I would just be mildly curious, so I can easily avoid it.
And I only bring this up, I'm not spoiling anything, just, they're shooting it. I'm just trying to get a sense of when we're going to see this thing, And it sounds like they'll be on track for probably August.
Great.
And Stephen Moffat has confirmed they're done with those season splits, so yay. That'll be nice. All right, Lego Doctor Who. This was a funny story. Wii U lifetime sales have overtaken Xbox 360 lifetime sales in Japan, which tells you how shitty the 360 did lifetime to date in Japan. I love that story.
Yes, well,
I think that's hilarious.
It is no secret that the Xbox has never really caught on as a brand in Japan, so...
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's legitimately funny that as poor as the Wii U has been selling, the 360 in 8 years couldn't see that in Japan. Is Microsoft releasing the Xbox One in Japan?
They probably will eventually.
Why? You're just pissing money away at that point. It's silly. All right, so anyway, let's see. Batman Arkham Knight. Next big news item.
Yeah, I forgot we have not talked about that yet on this podcast.
I know. I mean, this is big news. Batman, the next Arkham game. I did not think it was going to be coming this soon because it didn't quite make sense that we would have Origins last year if we were going to get... It felt like they did Origins because it was going to take longer for the Rocksteady game to come out, but Rocksteady's been working on this. It's a new Batman Arkham game. They're billing it as the final Batman Arkham game. It's coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah, so this is one of the first new titles that is not cross-gen at all. That's not an exclusive.
And that's one of the things
exciting.
that excites me the most about this, is that it's a PS4, Xbox One exclusive, and it's ambitious. They're making a full Gotham. You'll be able to drive through it. Grand Theft Batman.
Batmobile.
Yep. So
Batman doesn't need to steal other people's cars.
That's true. Although if they let you do that would be so antithetical to old Batman.
Pull over! I need your car! It's you've got the best car right there! You've got it fucking remote controlled, asshole! Why do you need to steal my fucking sedan?
Now I'm imagining a Batman game where he has sex with a hooker and kills her to get the money back. I think that would be a Frank Miller Batman game.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The All-Star Batman and Robin, the video game.
Yes. You can kidnap and molest children.
Exactly.
Because that's what Frank Miller...
Because you're the goddamn Batman.
Alright, so Batman Arkham Knight, it's set 1 year after Arkham City. It's 5 times as big as Arkham City. It sounds really cool. I really like this idea. Kevin Conroy is coming back to voice Batman. Nolan North is going to voice the Penguin. Tara Strong will come back as Harley Quinn. And Troy Baker will voice Two-Face again.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt the Joker will be in this one because I think Rocksteady wants to...
I feel like they basically straight up said that the Joker's not going to be in it.
And I think they'll be dealing with the downfall of what happens at the end of Arkham City. Yeah. But yeah, he probably won't be in it. But it sounds great. They've got...
It sounds like Scarecrow is going to play a pretty big role.
Which I think makes sense because they hinted at him enough in the 2 Rocksteady games that, going back to that is good.
I imagine there'll probably be another, bigger villain behind it all than Scarecrow, though. I would be surprised if Scarecrow was, the end-all, be-all of this game.
No, but I do think it's interesting that, this is a saga at this point, and they're closing it out, and I am really interested to see how Rocksteady wants to end its Batman story.
Yeah.
Because I love its version of Batman.
Mm-hmm, me too.
And that includes Arkham Origins. I like that part of the mythology, too, a lot. And almost to the point where it's I can't be disappointed about Kevin Conroy coming back, of course, but I would love to hear more Roger Craig Smith as Batman.
Yeah,
someday.
hopefully, if they make more, animated movies, they can get him to be back as Batman, because he's really good as Batman.
Yeah, and I don't mean that to say take anything away from Kevin Conroy.
Obviously.
I'm perfectly excited
if you
to
were,
hear.
then I would kill you.
No, and
I'm here on this podcast.
I'm absolutely excited to hear more from him, because he's
he is Batman.
He is.
So,
yeah, he is the Batman. So, that's that. Anything else to say about Batman Arkham Knight?
They haven't really talked a whole lot of it's just basically been a CG trailer. So
yeah, I liked the trailer. It was
a cool trailer.
Good, atmospheric.
Yeah.
So yes,
Thomas Wayne, his dad, Bruce's dad, is very good at writing very pointed, specific last will and testament. It's do you know you're going to get killed in front of your son? Because the whole trailer is this narration of Thomas Wayne talking to, in his last will and testament, hypothetically Bruce after he's died. It's Bruce is 8 years old. Why you're this is, I don't know. This is really specific, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Next piece of news. This is a little out. A lot of this is a little outdated now because we just missed so many weeks. But I want to go through it. Amy Hennig leaving Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
She was the lead writer on Uncharted 1 to 3. Was going to be writing 4.
Or probably already did write 4.
That's true.
That game's been in development for a while.
Yes. So
or the Uncharted or whatever the fuck they're going to call that game.
Obviously, the Uncharted. Obviously, a big creative force at Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog, obviously one of the best companies in the industry.
Yes.
Sean, expert analysis. What does this mean?
That Amy Hennig is not at Naughty Dog anymore, and she'll probably get work somewhere else.
Yes, I mean I've seen it.
There's been a lot of weird rumors and stuff that seem totally non-substantiated to me.
Yes,
about the leaving.
This is the thing. I bring it up to bring it up, but because it's news, but it's kind of non-news. I mean, we don't know. It doesn't. People tried to make a scandal out of it, but nothing about it seems inherently scandalous.
Yeah,
people leave jobs. This happens.
Yeah, I mean, she was there for 10 years. So.
Yeah. I hope nothing, I hope there was nothing bad here. I hope there's no bad blood or anything. I wouldn't, want to wish that on anybody. But, I don't, unless we know something for certain, I don't think there's anything big to talk about here. Hopefully she, goes on and does bigger and better things.
Yeah.
But, we will find out.
Yeah, those Uncharted games are really good, and one of the best parts of them is the writing and the story and the sort of that creative aspect of it. So I'm really excited to see what she's going to do. What's new.
Part of the rumor was, that Neil Druckmann and Bruce Stanley forced her out, which was weird to me because I don't imagine they're the prime creative forces on the next Uncharted. I imagine they want to be making their own new game. They've said that.
It seemed, that part of the rumor seemed really strange to me.
They're the Last of Us guys. I don't think they want to go take over someone else's franchise and make that. I think they have different creative ambitions. Mm-hmm. So that was weird. It's news because everyone loves Naughty Dog and everyone loves Uncharted, so...
Everyone loves Amy Hennig.
Yes. How many people knew who she was before this?
I feel it, depending on how into the Uncharted games and the Sony side of stuff you were, actually probably quite a few. She's one of the 2 female video game developers I can name off the top of my head. The other one being Jade Raymond at Ubisoft because she's always the Assassin's Creed lady. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't say that to insult her or anything. That wasn't my intention. It's just I feel like this was big news, and I think a lot of people who maybe didn't know who she was before this were making a big deal out of it. I can understand if you were a huge Uncharted fan and you really loved the writing and you knew her by name, this could be upsetting or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. Let's see. While we're on Naughty Dog stuff, skip down a couple lines. They are planning on making a Last of Us film.
Yeah.
And this is a horrible idea for a couple of reasons, but let me pull up the story here because there's a specific reason this is horrible because of who they're working with. Naughty Dog is planning on writing the movie. You know, Druckmann, Neil Druckmann will be working on it and whatnot. But it's Screen Gems which is making it, the studio. Screen Gems makes the Resident Evil movies.
Oh.
And
I did not know that.
I think they might be the studio behind the Silent Hill movies. They make shitty video game movies. They make cheap, shitty video game movies.
Yeah.
They hire cheap, shitty directors to make their cheap, shitty video game movies. I don't understand the motivation from Naughty Dog, besides money.
Yeah.
And money is a powerful, motivator to make a Last of Us movie with this kind of hack B studio.
Although, on the other hand, I just, regardless of who is making the movie, just making a Last of Us movie is just a stupid fucking idea. But how fucking amazing would it be? How funny, hilarious, and appropriate would it be if they got Ellen Page to play Ellie? After all the big fucking stink out of, them or people, accusing Naughty Dog of, stealing her likeness for the character and stuff like that, if then eventually fucking Ellen Page plays the character of the movie, that's the only thing that could happen that would make me have anything positive about this movie,
I agree, even though she's way too old for the part.
Yeah.
So, not that Ellen Page is old, she's just not a teenage girl.
Yeah.
So, yes. That would be funny. It's just, it's just this weird thing where I'm a movie critic, I love movies, I'm a film major, I'm getting a graduate degree in film studies, and I don't understand the motivation of every other media on the planet we need to make our stuff into movies.
Yeah.
Movies are not the be-all, end-all. They are one form of storytelling. Some stories are best as movies. Some stories are best as video games. The Last of Us is a video game.
Yeah.
And it is the pinnacle of video game storytelling, or one of the pinnacles, because it uses the gaming medium so precisely to tell its story. Yeah. What is special about The Last of Us, I don't think can translate to a movie.
I agree.
I think if you make The Last of Us a movie, it's a generic zombie movie. There's nothing... I don't think there's anything so inherent in The Last of Us that when you take it out of its video game context, it's going to be special. And
I don't think there's any way you make The Last of Us movie and it's going to be in any way more compelling than the game, even in stuff that traditionally you would think movies would do better with the characters and the writing and the plot, because that all is so perfect on The Last of Us side. Then also, making fun of them casting Ellen Page as Ellie. No, I don't want anyone else to play those characters. They're portrayed so perfectly in the game, but it's obviously, Troy Baker is... Even if Troy Baker looked like Joel, he would not be playing Joel in the movie. But he also totally can't, because he looks like Snow from Final Fantasy 13. He does not look like Joel from The Last of Us, so... It's
a weird case... too, where they were making the Uncharted movie that never got made, and they never thought to cast Nolan North, but obviously, and Nolan North could work as that.
Yeah, I think so.
But no, it's we're going to get Mark Wahlberg because that's what the people want.
Yeah, because Mark Wahlberg, totally Indiana Jones style character. Mark Wahlberg, match made in heaven, right?
Exactly.
He's practically Harrison Ford. I mean, come on.
It's stupid. The whole thing is silly, and some people saying, "Well, be optimistic. At least Naughty Dog is working on it." Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann are not filmmakers. They have... That's not to say that they are extremely talented people, but they're extremely talented video game developers. This is different. When film people go to do video games, guess what? It can suck.
Yeah.
When authors adapt their own novels to the screen, guess what? It usually sucks.
Yeah.
And it's all these TV shows they want to make movies out of now. It's no, it's a TV show. I enjoy it as a TV show.
Yeah.
A TV show gives me something totally different from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to them looking for the same thing, and I don't want them to cross over.
It's weird because I've been thinking about this a little bit lately of the comic book adaptations into film. I think one of the reasons those have been so successful is because literally the only thing they usually take from the comic book is the character and their powers and the most fundamental basics of the character, and maybe a plot idea from a graphic novel or something, maybe. But usually it's a completely unique plot. It's just the basics of the character are what you adapt, and then everything else is just a fucking movie, goddammit, and that works so well.
It does, and just bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see. I hope that never happens. I doubt it ever will.
It probably won't.
No, probably won't. All right, so let's move on. Watch Dogs release date finally coming May 27th.
The game we all thought was going to come out 5 months ago
is finally coming out.
A couple of months from now.
May 27th. My Amazon pre-order is all updated. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's a good time for it to come out too. Right?
Yeah, there's not a whole
summer.
lot else coming out around there. So.
Yep. So sounds good. I'm still just as excited for Watch Dogs as ever.
Yeah.
So be good. They did when this announcement happened. They did do a bunch of interviews with the creators of Watch Dogs about the delay. I don't know if you saw these.
Not really.
They did have, specific technical reasons why they were explaining they had this delay, and it sounds like if you read in between the lines, it was kind of a balance between what we were proposing, which was that it was
they didn't want to block Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah, and I think that was a factor, but I do think there were some technical considerations. Like they said, we could have made ship date, but we also knew there were things that needed work.
But I mean, I think that's always the case.
Yes. So I think it's a mix between the two. It made sense to hold Watch Dogs because it still had work to do rather than holding Assassin's Creed, especially because Assassin's Creed is annualized that way.
Yeah, if it came out now, then fucked everything up with Assassin's Creed 4. So.
Exactly. So, all right, that's that. Jack Tretton is leaving Sony.
Yeah,
CEO. Okay, and we just lost several minutes of podcasting.
Yes, and then we did this, but we were using the wrong microphone, so now we're doing it again.
Yes, so Jack Tretton, we had a technical difficulty, but it's okay. We didn't lose much.
It's convenient for me because now I have started my install of Dark Souls 2 while we're recording the podcast.
We will give you live updates on how fast, if it gets to 90% and stops.
Yeah, it's 13% complete so far, so...
I would love it if the install screen got to 49% and then stopped and said dead.
Yeah.
What's it, Dark Souls?
You died.
You
it's
died,
just like big red letters that just pop up. It's just like, vroom, you died.
Because I've played a little Dark Souls, and I love that you died thing. Because if you play 5 minutes, you see it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jack Tretton is leaving Sony. The crux of what we said when we lost this part of the podcast was... obviously, he led the company through an incredible period of growth.
Yeah, because he was there since the PS1 days.
Yeah, since the PS1 launched, with PlayStation launching this gaming brand that is now as synonymous with gaming as Nintendo, anything else, on through the PS2, the most successful console of all time, and will probably never be toppled for that title.
That also was the origin of the two best games ever made, Persona 3 and Persona 4. So.
Yes. Yay. So, good on you, Jack Tretton. You helped this company... create a platform where the best games ever could be made on.
Exactly.
PlayStation 3, they had some rough days there, some problems, but you know what? They turned it around pretty incredibly. Yeah. PlayStation 3 is a great platform, and the PS4 is a great platform, and it's selling historically. So, I mean, the PS4 sales numbers are crazy.
Yeah, they keep on trucking.
And apparently someone's buying the camera.
Because the camera's like not in stock anywhere.
And it's more expensive at GameStop. Mm-hmm. That's weird. So anyway, yes, Jack Tretton, he's left Sony. Let's move on. Okay, really
30% complete.
Yes, really quick. An adventure in space. Really quick Doctor Who news.
Yes,
I'm trying to read off.
A really quick adventure in space and time, which is Doctor Who news.
Yes, Doctor Who, as you know, for their 50th anniversary special, they aired this movie, An Adventure in Space and Time. Yes. Tell the kids about it really quick.
Oh, so it's basically it tells the story of William Hartnell when he became the first Doctor and sort of the trials and tribulations of the early years of Doctor Who, kind of from his perspective.
Yeah, stars David Bradley.
Which you did not remember his name in the original time we had this conversation.
Which is weird, because I watched David Bradley on a bunch of other shows.
Yeah, he's on everything in British TV. So.
And he's on Game of Thrones. You don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So I should know this name. But anyway, yes, Adventure Space and Time. It came out on DVD in the UK last year. Now it's coming out on Blu-ray in the US. It's not coming out on Blu-ray in the UK. I think this is kind of funny and weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming out on Blu-ray here, and the reason this is cool is it's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, but it also comes with a DVD of An Unearthly Child, all 4 episodes of that serial, and the unaired pilot. So I might pick this up because I like that movie, and just to have those episodes, and it's probably cheaper than finding the box set that's in.
Yeah.
So, one bit of Doctor Who news there. Have you seen the article, Sean, about Drive Club having a lot of trouble in its development?
Yeah, I kind of skimmed it.
Yeah, they say they're going back to the drawing board, basically, was the term the developer used, that they really don't have any idea when it's coming out. They're not going to confirm even 2014 now.
Yeah.
this is weird. It's kind of the only big story I've heard about this with the PS4 so far. Of they had this game that was a big part of their launch rollout, had the best presentation ever.
Yeah.
Team-based racing.
Exactly. And I still don't know what the fuck team-based racing is. Maybe I never will. Who knows?
So indications were at the time when this was delayed from it was going to be a launch title. It was a big part of PS4 marketing.
Yeah.
I think it's on the PS4 box. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I can actually, live right now, I'm going to go check because I have my PS4 box right over here.
So while Sean's looking for that, I mean, there were... Oh, you found it already? Okay.
Yes, it was literally right over there. No, the Drive Club is not on the box, but it might as well be.
Yes.
Watch Dogs is.
Yeah, Watch Dogs got delayed. So anyway, yes, Drive Club, there were indications when it was delayed that they were having some trouble with it. I'd heard about some frame rate stuff. And it sounds like it was pretty troubling because they are working hard to kind of redo it from scratch, it sounds like almost.
Yeah.
And, hopefully it results in a good game. I am excited to play that. Because, Sony seemed invested in it, and, the games they were invested in at launch, none of them, were terrible. Knack had some good qualities, even though it wasn't fun overall. Killzone wasn't universally beloved, but
I liked it.
Yeah, a lot of people liked it. I don't know if anyone went over the moon for it or anything. So, it's interesting. Maybe, I wonder if another part of it is, at this point, they don't want a game like this coming out like a year into the console's life cycle that feels like a day one game.
Yeah.
That could be part of it. So anyway, Sean, last thing on our news outline.
Yes.
Something you told me about, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So I just saw this literally probably like 30 minutes before we started recording this podcast, that Amazon apparently is featuring this service for like Android-based stuff where you can stream apps. And they like mention specifically games, but it would be like Android games. But you could stream them to your phone. So there's an Amazon streaming service. And if you remember from, I think it was actually the last podcast we did, Amazon bought the video game studio Double Helix that recently put out Strider and the new Killer Instinct game for their Amazon Game Studios. So I don't know. This may be the slow march, the first step that Amazon is making towards taking over video games. Who knows?
I kind of doubt it's going to happen. They have not made any... They've started doing some of their original programming for Amazon Instant Video, but none of that has caught on, even in the slightest. Amazon.
But is that original programming coming to you from the creators of the new Killer Instinct and Strider? I don't think so.
All right. Well, we'll see. Did you also hear about Ouya?
Ouya. Keep on
whatever.
Every time you say it wrong.
Well, it's a stupid piece of shit. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't mean you have to say its fucking name wrong.
All right, so Ouya, all right?
Yes, Ouya.
Ouya, massive failure. Ouya, this massive failure. They're planning on...
everywhere.
Now they're planning on, instead of having just the console, moving their platform to like Android devices and whatnot.
And for Ouya, everywhere.
Yes. So this is like the white flag of defeat, right?
Basically, yeah. It's we're the new N-Gage, guys. Sorry. This is our last desperate struggle.
God, N-Gage. I never remember N-Gage as a thing until someone brings it up, and then I just laugh.
The Nokia N-Gage.
The N-Gage was like one of the worst ideas ever.
Dude, you bought the Game Boy Micro.
How did you know that?
Because you told it to me on this podcast.
I did?
I don't forget shit like that, motherfucker.
I didn't know I'd let that out in public.
Yeah, I fucking... There's no way I would forget that you did something so inhuman as buying a fucking Game Boy Micro.
I gotta interrupt you here.
Yes.
Dark Souls 2 is past 91%.
My God.
Therefore, it is superior to the Wii U.
Yeah, this is actually a really fucking fast install.
Yes. All right. Anyway, yeah, I did buy a Game Boy Micro once. I have trouble.
So
And
I wouldn't be shocked if you bought a fucking Nokia N-Gage back in the day. You engaged with the N-Gage.
I did not buy a fucking N-Gage. I did buy a Game Boy Micro and a Wii U, though, so who knows?
Yeah, so you know, hey, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, right?
Sean, what else do you want to talk about today?
I don't know. We have exhausted our outline.
We have exhausted our outline. But hey, if you've got anything else, we can go for an out. Not really. I gotta go soon.
Yeah, and my Dark Souls 2 install is almost done, so I have to go.
Well,
collect some souls.
We're gonna have a lot more to talk about soon. We're gonna have a lot of games to talk about. In the last weeks of March, we'll do some Marvel catch-up stuff because
99%.
Because Captain America 2 is coming out. It's apparently fantastic. The early reaction has been like, people are saying this is like Marvel's Dark Knight and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
100% complete. The Dark Souls has arrived.
Yes. Sean's going to go play Dark Souls. We're going to talk about all the Marvel one-shots on an upcoming episode. Yep. Those are the short films on the DVDs and Blu-rays. We'll talk about Dark Souls 2 next week. We'll talk about lots of stuff. And we will be less busy next week, so hopefully we can have a more kind of formal, episode with a topic and whatnot. But hey, we got to talk about the Wii U today, and that was fun. So.
Yep. 100% complete, Jonathan. The real Dark Souls starts now.